He's NBCUniversal Veterans Network and also the Got Your Six campaign. It gives me great pleasure to introduce Steve Dunning.
Well, I just want to say thank you to everybody here this evening, for all the filmmakers in the audience. Great job. I can't thank Andy, Amber, everybody at the school and their teams for making this a great event, a great venue for the GI Film Festival, having everybody out. So a big round of applause to all those who made this happen. The topic of my speech, as you see up there, is Are You Ready for Hollywood? So I'm extremely passionate about all veteran issues. I could talk forever about it. I thank everyone who came to the Got Your Six panel today with a lot of our nonprofit partners as well as our media partners. Of course, check out gotyoursix.org. It's a fantastic campaign that we'll keep driving home. I also just want to ask all the folks that I invited here tonight. They are fellow colleagues, co-workers of mine, and I invite them here tonight, and we're very lucky to have them because a majority of them are the HR folks at the different studios, networks, guilds. So Disney, HBO, Warner Brothers, DGA, SAG-AFTRA, ABC, a lot of those folks are here. So I know afterwards we're going to have a little bit more cocktail hour, and the reason I want these folks here is so that the students can have that direct contact, which is very, very difficult to get if you're outside of the business. So for all my invitees, I'm sorry to call you out, but could you just stand for a moment so that other students can see who you are, so that later on they can come up and chat with you. Here we go, we have some folks right here. Here's Neil Holmes from the LA Sparks. Laura Levinson is here from the Dodgers. What, say that again? All right, they want you to come up on the stage, people. Okay, come on up on the stage, whoever is in the say. All right, that's what they want. As the film business says, give them what they want. So we got some more. Come on up here, Neil. And of course, afterwards, as always, please be respectful of their time, as well as other students that would like to speak with them. John's here, come on up, John Mendoza from the Directors Guild. I know Thiela and a couple people were up top, so they will make it now. And there's probably about 15 to 20 here, so I see 3 who are not shy enough to come up. John from the Directors Guild, like I said, Neil. So afterwards, please see them as well as others that basically I'll be corralling around myself. So another round of applause for all them out there. I didn't know they were coming up, so it's good. Thanks for coming up. So as you know, it's great. A new friend in Michelle. She's a really straight shooter, and that's awesome. And that's how I am about the film business as well. It is a tough field, as Dale mentioned earlier. So some of the advice and some of the things you're not going to want to hear, but I wish I would have heard them when I came out here 22 years ago. So just a little bit on me. I am the national co-leader of the NBCUniversal Veterans Network and a core team member of Got Your Six. I want to start out with a quote that from our very first, very famous general that's always been a favorite quote of mine, the general that spent cold winter at Valley Forge, very close to where I grew up, and I spent many days on field trips there as a kid and sledding down those very same hills that those veterans tried to stay alive. And that quote is, "The willingness with which our young people are likely to serve in any war, no matter how justified, shall be directly proportional to how they perceive the veterans of earlier wars were treated and appreciated by their nations." I couldn't agree with that more, and on that note, that's one of the things that this campaign aims to do. So if we could roll the clip.
Do you know what it means to have someone's back? To have another life depend on you and only you?
Where your vision, your defense, your support
is the very thing that is the difference in their life or death.
This feeling is known in the truest form by those that willingly protect you and me every day.
In the military, Got Your Six means I've got your back.
They've got our six.
It's time we got theirs.
Through jobs, education, housing, and more.
We can support returning military veterans and their families.
To find out more information, go to gotyoursix.org.
They've got our six. Now it's time that we have theirs.
I've got your six.
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 Celebrities are not just trying to get FaceTimes for themselves. They are extremely committed to this effort, so they're the real deal. Normally I don't go off script, but since I am here to give some good advice tonight, I want to make sure I cover some specific things. But I'll just mention about Got Your Six. Got Your Six started out of the NBCUniversal Veterans Network, actually in the back of our commissary. And it was just us getting together after doing some help with joiningforces.gov. For the First Lady's office, and we had done a couple PSAs, one with Tom Hanks, Spielberg, and Oprah. And we would get a lot of feedback that veterans, were saying, well, that's another great organization, we assume. There's thousands of them out there. I think someone in our Got Your Six panel today said there's 400,000 veteran organizations out there that are out there to help. But a lot of veterans say, where do I start? Which is a good thing, are these all vetted out? So we came up with the idea of having this big umbrella organization that folks could go to, veterans and family members, and know that those organizations weren't wasting the money, weren't wasting the time, and that they were going to get results from them. We had originally called it the Hollywood Military Forum. Pretty lame, right? So we decided to rebrand it once we brought in the rest of the studios. So basically it's made up of all the studios, networks, guilds, and talent agencies. And then we brought in our nonprofit partners. Some of those activation partners were here today and are in the audience, and I thank them again for being here, some from very far off in DC. Each one of those partner organizations then has a commitment that they have to stick to. So whether it's 100,000 homes, committing to housing 10,000 chronically homeless veterans in the next 3 years, whether it's someone like Give an Hour, committing to train mental health professionals across the country, whether it's the Pat Tillman Foundation or Team Rubicon in our leadership pillar, to commit to 1 million hours of service hours for those that still want to serve and have that sense of mission. They have that purpose. As well with Mission Continues, we do that. We still do the work very closely with joiningforces.gov, and we'll be doing much more here with Michelle. And let me tell you, being back there a few weeks ago, there are a lot of very committed people there in the White House who are there and care a lot about every single veteran. So check out joiningforces.gov. I have to mention another great program I'm very proud to work with, headed by our 38th Chief of Staff of the Army, down the line from MacArthur, Eisenhower, and so on. Today, that's General Raymond T. Odierno. He's a great guy, Chief of Staff of the Army. He's committed to his troops, and one of his, actually two of his staff are here, Robin Woody and Mariah. I'm sorry, I just met you today, so I forgot your last name. If you haven't seen them, they're the lovely ladies walking around in uniform. So round of applause for them. And his new program, the Soldier for Life program, it's a fantastic thing, very much in line with our Got Your Six program, and that's why we are collaborating together. So if you happen to see them out there and you want to know what Soldier for Life is, please feel free to talk to them. That's why they are here. So as I mentioned, what Got Your Six is all the studios, networks, and guilds coming together in this business, our entertainment industry, that I've been, I don't know, fortunate or not to be a part of for a long time. It's a really tough business. And as I say, things can get very tough. Sorry, I just want to go a little further. So on that note, I came here years ago not knowing anybody, no family, no friends, drove across the country right out of school and just knocked on every door and begged to work for free, and worked for free for a lot, cleaning up Michael Bay's coffee spills while he was still directing Nike commercials, and on down the line. It takes an incredible amount of commitment and drive and discipline to do it. And I know that every veteran here has that in them. So whatever your goals are, I know you can absolutely reach those. one of the obstacles for reintegration is that training, whether that be in the financial world, housing field, whatever that field is, but particularly in the film industry, there's not a lot of training for that, and there's also not a lot of skills in the military and your MOS that translates to that. But a lot of people in the entertainment industry don't realize there's cameramen out there, there's PR people out there serving in the military, there's marketing folks out there. So with Got Your Six, we're doing a lot of education for the entertainment industry, for them to know that there are people that are ready already. But some things that I've learned over the years for all of you film students out there who are about to step out into this world. First, be humble, okay? Have humility. I've never seen someone who is not humble make it further down the line. And I think that humility, that respect, is something that's instilled in every veteran as well. So you're prepared on that note for sure. The thing is, you are starting out in the real entertainment industry, an industry that generates billions and billions of dollars a year around the world, as you know. And the people that you work with make daily decisions that affect millions and millions of dollars and livelihoods of everybody around them, and livelihoods of people on the other side of the globe. Okay, so you have to remember you're part of a team. You, of course, are passionate. I'm very passionate about my creative work, but you're not sitting down writing a novel. You're not there on your own. Okay. You are part of a huge team. Veterans know that. Veterans are great team members. You have to remember that whole entire project, even though it may be yours and it's your baby, it doesn't rest only on your shoulders. And it's very difficult because I've had to do it, myself in my own movies, but sometimes you have to be able to let someone else take care of the baby a little bit, to mold that baby a little bit. And then sometimes you have to, this is an analogy I've heard too many times, but it tells it like it is. You have to be willing to cut off a finger, a hand, a part of that baby of yours. It really comes down to being, that cutthroat, that you have to do those things sometimes in order to be able to play the game with everybody else. As I was coming up in the business, it wasn't some unknown force that was getting me to move further and further ahead. It was that hard work and that sacrifice that I'm sure all of you are ready, willing, and able to do. So just don't ever forget that. You have to continue on and on with that. I've seen many people go back to Ohio or Pennsylvania, where I'm from, and say, I can't take this. This is too much. I have to sacrifice too much. And they go back, and that's fine. If that's the choice, that's the choice. But if you want to stay in it forever, you're going to make a lot of hard choices and a lot of sacrifice. The other thing I would say is absolutely listen. And just like you listen to your COs, because creative executives, cast, crew, they want to be heard. They want to be part of that collaborative team. They don't want to be directed and told what to do. Even as a director myself, I have to bring in those 150 people on the cast and crew and make them all feel that ownership of what they are doing on the project. It's a huge team effort. And if you make it be your own project and don't involve everybody, then that entire process breaks down, and you will be the one who will suffer for it, and so will your project, and so will your career ultimately. When I first came here and I would get, a good opportunity or something to come up, my mother would always say, yes, that's divine intervention, or, and I would say, no, Mom, that is me sleeping in the back of a truck, after a 20-hour day because I don't drive 45 minutes to get home because I need that 45 minutes of extra sleep. And that's what it takes. So there's just endless sacrifice out there for you to do. As I climbed up over the years, I worked for that first guy in the video for a few years, a great mentor to me, and later on for a director of my same name that I run into today over on the Universal lot as we work on restoring his very famous Alien. But it happens because of that patience, that discipline, being fully prepared for the right moment to make your move. And as a veteran, you know how to prepare, you know how to wait, you know how to be patient so that you can make that move. So just remember those things. But I hate to say it, even though you may have directed something here, you may have produced something here, you may have done that on other projects, it unfortunately is not going to be what you're going to do as soon as you're out of here and you get something over at Warner Brothers. You may have directed something here, but of course they're not going to say, okay, direct our next movie, right? And that comes into that humility. You have to remember that you know, you are starting out in a business. So take every opportunity you can to get on board something, to get in the door somewhere, so that then you can use that to continue to grow and be ready. And when you're ready to take that step, then you take that step. And I've seen too many projects be done too early because people weren't ready. And those projects come across our desks and we see that reel, producer, makeup artist, director's reel, and we say, oh, this is their work, this is their name, good or bad, that's the pile it goes on to. We don't sit there and hear the difficulties of the production. We don't hear that, oh, it would have been better if I would have had this. We don't know it's your first feature, it's your 20th commercial, whatever it is. Okay, we just look at it, good, bad, name, that's them. Now when that comes across the desk again, we also don't say, I'll take a look again and see if they've gotten better from that really amateur thing that I saw before. No, we remember the name. Unfortunately, it's the way it is. There's the name, saw their stuff already, they're not good. Put it to the side. That's unfortunately how it is. As Dale was saying, you know, it's a rotten business in a lot of ways, you know. Thank God I had a good upbringing, good parents who, you know, still are support and encouragement today to keep me grounded and to just push on, because everybody in the business, you know, they're all out there to get something that they want. I am too. It happens to be telling a message that I hope is important to folks sitting out there in the dark. But over the years, you know, I had to really realize what I didn't want to, which was, it is the entertainment business. It's a business just like the car business or any other industry. At the end of the day, no one cares about your passions, about your struggles. They don't know it. And the guy who's sitting down in Florida, who's a stockholder for that big corporation, that entertainment company, he doesn't care either. So our CEOs and everyone else, decision makers down from there, they have to think of the bottom line because they want their paycheck. And that paycheck supports them as well as all the rest of the people in the company and the communities around those companies. So as much as I would love to go out there and do certain things and do pet projects or things that I think will have a great impact on people, you can't always do that. You can do that on your own and in your own company, and I applaud that, and I do that as well. But I stopped beating my head against the wall many years ago and said, okay, I'll play this game, and I'll do your stuff, and I'll make my money from that, and then go do my stuff. And that's the way that you can play ball with the industry, basically. A long time ago, I worked on a commercial for a Swedish massage unit. And this goes back to the people and you know, your reputation, because your reputation is everything. And on that commercial, there was a beautiful Swedish model. There was George Burns and O.J. Simpson. And as I say, your reputation is everything. So when people work with you and they see you're a team player or you're not a team player, how you treat other people, that carries with you forever. So I can tell you that one person on that shoot, beautiful, super sweet. Another person on that shoot, super kind and giving. Another person on that shoot, extremely difficult to work with. Everybody remembers that. So that's what I remember. If you don't know who's extremely difficult to work with, okay, I'll give you a little hint, okay? And from that point forward, you know, I worked with that same producer again and again. And 2 other opportunities came up to have that same person be back in another national spot that make tons of money on that. But they went with somebody else for that simple reason of that guy was a pain in the ass, and we don't want to deal with that again. So your reputation just goes with you everywhere, and it's the first thing you walk in the door with, so protect it with your life. Everything's about your reputation. I've had producers that I work for as a production assistant come back to me years later at the studio and ask me for work, ask me to hire them. And you can be sure I remembered how they treated all of us production assistants while we were working for them. So protect that reputation. The other thing I would say is skill, skill, skill. You have to always be practicing all the time. Keep up with the technology that's happening, but keep honing your skill. Take every opportunity to practice that, whether it's on another thesis film for somebody else, whatever it might be, keep practicing it. And in the industry, you are going to be a producer one day, and you're going to be a production coordinator on the next job. You're going to go up and down, and you have to accept that that is part of it. If you say, no, I'm just a producer, no, I'm just this, then you're going to lose a lot of opportunity to continue to learn. And the last thing I just want to say is that you know, you need to be able to assess yourself honestly of where you're at and what's the next stage that you're ready for. And you can't rely on only your own judgment of that, because your world is only in your mind. You have to have trust in others around you and take their input, their opinion about what the reality is at the moment, so you can move to that next stage. So I don't mean to stand up here and give a lot of harsh, you know what I mean, you know, advice, but if you remember those things, it's gonna serve you well, and you're gonna go a lot further in the business a lot quicker. And that's what I want for all the veterans out there that I dearly love and support so much in every possible way that I can. So I will say you are absolutely all ready for that next step. So please go out there and give them hell, guys.